Welcome to the Planning Commission meeting of March 18th, 2021. My name is Vern Crow, and I am the chairperson of the commission. The Planning Commission is a citizen body appointed by the City Council. The commission is empowered to make final decisions on certain matters, with those being appealable to the City Council. On other matters, the commission acts in an advisory role to the council, with the council making the final decision. You will have an opportunity to address the commission during the public hearing portion of the meeting. Your testimony is appreciated and encouraged. The commission acts from a written agenda. You will need to fill out a yellow speaker card and give it to the city staff if you wish to speak on an item that's on the agenda. Copies of the agenda and the speaker cards are located on a table just outside the main door to this building. At this time, please be sure to silence your cell phones. There are 7 members appointed to the Planning Commission. At this time, I will ask the commissioners to introduce themselves and state the district they are representing, starting from my far right.
John Crow, Mayor at Large.
Tom Cole, Barrel District.
Good evening, I'm Ed Nyberg, representing the Choya District.
Warren Wilpon of the Arcatillo District.
Martin Nowakowski, Yucca District.
And I'm Vern Crow, and I represent Cactus. Let the record show that all the members of the Planning Commission are present except for the vacant Saguaro District seat. The Planning Commission receives staff assistance and guidance from the Planning Division at the City Attorney's Office. Mr. Record, would you please introduce the city staff who might be presenting this evening?
Might be presenting this evening would be, on this agenda would be Tabitha Perry. You have one item.
And can you introduce the rest of the staff, please, sir?
Yes. At the far end is Diana and Figueroa. Then we have Matt, and I do think I can pronounce his last name, Kyle Ziko. And then Jamshid Mehta, myself, David Rickert, and Jim Gruber from our law department. And I think that's it.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on an item not on tonight's agenda? Oh, I see some speaker cards.
Citizen comments. Okay.
Okay, because these items are not on tonight's agenda, the commission cannot take action this evening on anything that's discussed from the speaker cards. However, items may be added to a future agenda. Now on to the approval of the minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of January 7th, 2021 for the regular Planning Commission meeting?
So move.
Support.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of January 7th, 2021 Planning Commission regular meeting as written. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Mr. Rickert, are there any withdrawals or continuances?
No, sir.
As there are none, let's move on to the public hearing. Jim, do we take the speaker cards now?
Members of the commission, so the speaker cards were submitted with respect to the citizen comments portion of this agenda?
It says citizen comment, yes. It's citizen comment on all of them. Non-agenda, citizen comment.
Chairman, members of the commission, you could take the item out of order. You could hear it now. It's really at your pleasure.
I tell you what, let's move on with the agenda item and get that passed and see what we can do there, and then we will go to the comments. Okay? Okay, the purpose of the public hearing is to provide interested parties on an opportunity to present testimony for the commission's consideration. We will follow the same procedures for each item. I will call the application number and the name of the applicant. Staff will present their report and answer questions from the commission. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation and answer questions from the commission. Other persons who wish to testify will be asked to do so and answer questions from the commission. The applicant will have an opportunity for closing comments, and staff will be asked for any final comments along with that and the application of procedural guidance. I will then close the public hearing and ask for a motion prior to discussion. We only have one public hearing item tonight, and that's on our agenda item, case number ZTA 21-01. And it looks like Ms. Tabitha Perry will present the case.
Good evening. Thank you, Chairperson Crow and Commissioners. I'm going to present this item ZTA 21-01 without an actual presentation, but I believe that each commissioners have a hand copy of the presentation in your packet. This is a request for Planning Commission to recommend approval of a citywide text amendment for group homes, Section 7.502 of the City Zoning Ordinance. In February of 2020, the city received a complaint from HUD identifying 2 areas of concerns. The listed concerns are zoning and land use definition of group homes and a failure to make reasonable accommodations for group homes. Based on the complaint, direction was given to draft an ordinance to satisfy the complaint. In December of 2020, Planning Commission recommended approval and the City Council approved text amendment ZTA 20-01, which addressed reasonable accommodation by incorporating disability accommodations. On February the 18th, 2021, during a Planning Commission workshop, the Commission initiated application ZTA 21-01 for group homes, Section 7.502. This initiation of the application was to address the need to modify the group home definition and revisions to the disability accommodation to provide clarity. The current group home definition was established in 1993 and allows for a dwelling shared by at least 6, but no more than 10 handicapped or disabled persons. The proposed revision is intended to remove a maximum number of unrelated persons residing in a home or building, as well as become more inclusive to various services offered. The 2020 approval of the disability accommodation provided a provision for those who could not meet the 1,320 separation distance between group homes to appeal before the Board of Adjustment. Prior to the effective date of the disability accommodation text amendment, if a potential applicant could not meet the separation distance requirement, he or she could not proceed with the group home at the desired location. The proposed change to Section E of the disability accommodation is intended to provide clarity that any form of requesting the disability accommodation shall be acknowledged by city staff, meaning a request can be made in writing or verbal, and staff would recognize either forms to proceed with accommodation request. The change will enact the process but allows city staff to still require a formal application in order to complete research to provide direction to the requester. The citizen participation process was completed and staff did not receive any opposition to the application. To conclude, the request is for Planning Commission to recommend approval of text amendment ZTA 21-01. With that, I will be happy to answer any questions the commissions may have.
Commissioners? Looks like we have no questions. We've been through this a couple of times, so that's not surprising. Any final comments, Ms. Perry?
Chairperson Crowe, no.
Okay, the public hearing for case number ZTA 21-01 is now closed. Do I hear a motion?
Chairman,
Vice Chair?
I would move that we approve ZTA 21-01 as written.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any further comments or discussions? Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve case number ZTA 21-01, subject to the stipulations as outlined by staff. And I will call a roll call vote, starting from my far right. Commissioner Crowe?
Aye.
Commissioner Cole?
Aye.
Vice Chair Nyberg?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilfong?
Aye.
Commissioner Nowakowski?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passed. Mr. Gruber, what are the next steps in the process?
Chair, members of the commission, your action with respect to case number ZTA 21-01 is not final. Your recommendation will be forwarded to the City Council for further consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Gruber. Mr. Rickert, is there any further business?
Not on this agenda. There's
Okay.
close this agenda and move
Are there
into
any
the workshop.
commissioners need any comments? Oh, yeah. We'll let the public comment for citizen comments. We'll take those at this time. Bud Zomak? Mr. Zomak? Okay. Oh, there's Mr. Zomak. I hope I pronounced that right, sir. Yes, sir. A name and address, please?
Sure, my name is Bud Zomak. I'm at 7302 North 58th Drive, Glendale, in the Ocotillo District. And I'm here just to speak on using my ability to have a citizen's comment on a special workshop that is not having any citizen's comment prior to doing the workshop. There's a quote that says, "For the unlearned, something time-tested is winter, but for the learned, it creates a season of harvest." My name is Bud Zomak, and my wife and I own Memory Lane Trinkets and Treasures in the commercial retail zone district of Catlin Court. I also own a 103-year-old home in the residential zone of Catlin Court. And we chose to open our business in Catlin Court due to the security of the long-term pad that's in place. We counted on this security to be one of the pillars of the realization of our harvest. I also need to let you know that I am one of the plaintiffs challenging this city when the Planning Administration and the Board of Adjustment said that the Catlin Court pad plan, as it is written now, does not put any limits on professional office space use or any limits on residential-only use. And I'm not sure if you're aware that there's actually litigation. Now the notice of this hearing, this special hearing, says that the City Council provided direction to memorialize the decision of the Board of Adjustments by amending the PAD. And it also says that amending the PAD will substantiate the decision of the Board of Adjustments. And I ask, in what way does changing the PAD plan after the interpretation, and the key word is after the interpretation, memorializes the Board of Adjustments' decision about the current PAD language? The Board of Adjustments' decision was prior to the changes that the city is asking you to make. And in what way does changing the PAD plan after the interpretation substantiate the Board of Adjustments' decision about the current PAD language? Again, the Board of Adjustments' decision was prior to the changes the city is now asking you to make. What effect do you intend this application to have on the special action court case challenging the ZIL 19-02 interpretation? And what, if any, advantage is there to the city in a pending court case by trying to memorialize and substantiate the board's decision after the fact? Some of the businesses in Catlin Court have been contributing to the Glendale's tax base for more than 30 years. The security of this long-term pad is not a winter. Rather, it's what has created a long-term tax harvest for the city of Glendale. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Coit Burner, and I hope I didn't ruin that one. Coit Burner. Welcome, Mr. Burner. Take your 5 minutes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, you bet.
I think it's important to note that the business that spoke before me and the ones that will speak after me have a combined 60 years in the Catlin Court Retail Business District. I own Bears and More at 7146 North 58th Drive. My name's Coit Burner, and we're getting ready to celebrate 29 years in Catlin Court. The timing of this application in the midst of a special action about these same two and only two proposed changes makes no sense. Why are you considering this change in the pad plan now? I'm also one of the plaintiffs that challenged the city when the planning administrator and the Board of Adjustment said the Catlin Court pad plan as it is written now does not put any limit on professional office space use or any limit on residential only uses at all. Why not wait until the court decides if the planning administrator's interpretation of the pad plan is correct? What is the benefit to the city of initiating a preemptive step to change the Catlin Court pad plan before the court's decision on the same two and only two changes proposed in this application? If the Planning Commission really believes the Board of Adjustment was right, then why not wait for the court decision that you believe will uphold these same rules anyway without a change in the pad plan? On the other hand, if the court decides that the interpretation and the board's decision are not correct in whole or in part, then why not wait for that court decision to guide the application and the pad plan amendment process from the outset? If the court upholds ZIL 19-02 interpretation, the decision in that case would make this application totally unnecessary. For this reason, the timing of this application, in light of the pending court case on these exact issues, requires explanation and public transparency. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you, sir. Gary Sherwood.
Hello,
Mr.
Chair.
Sherwood, name and address, please, sir.
Yeah, Gary Sherwood, 5928 West Pershing in the Swirl District. I come to you tonight to correct something that was stated in the January 7th meeting under commission comments and suggestions by the outgoing chairperson. Normally, I would file this under pettiness and insignificance, but I have to finally start responding publicly. Let me read the minutes from what was stated. He said he was once told by a commissioner who ended up on city council that the commission was nothing more than a rubber stamp for city council. Chairperson said he believed that this particular official misunderstood the role of the commissioner. By no sense of the imagination does he believe that the commission is just a rubber stamp for the city council. Chairperson said, coincidentally, that this individual was recalled in his first term on council. His misrepresentations of me have continued for the past 6 years, all over my change in position of supporting at the time, the West Valley Resort, now called the Desert Diamond Casino, West Valley. He was one of 2 private citizens signed on to a lawsuit brought on by the city to stop this project. Incidentally, the recall was funded heavily by one of the dark money groups. I was somewhat surprised initially that this still weighs heavily on him, but then realized this will go to the grave with him. I have served on several boards over the years, including this body as commissioner, vice chair, and chair. I've always stated that the city's boards and commissions do all the grunt work for the council and offer up the best consensus over issues, projects, activities, etc. While on council, knowing the amount of info that had to be reviewed on a biweekly basis, I came to appreciate these bodies even more because they were able to encapsulate what would have taken council additional hours to review. So for the record, I had never used the term rubber stamp or made any reference to the like. Even though I'm of an older generation, the use of rubber stamp isn't in my vocabulary. What I did say a few times to anyone listening, that while interviewing candidates for various boards and commissions, I would look for like-minded people. As example, I wouldn't appoint someone to this board that was anti-growth. Or the Arts Council, would I appoint someone that didn't think that art shouldn't be funded somewhat by public funding? I know what kind of time is spent reviewing material for all the meetings that you have been doing during this growth spurt, and very much appreciate the sacrifices that you make. But I also understand there's a reward that you receive for being in the know and the satisfaction you drive going beyond the normal call of duty of being an engaged citizen. Finally, I'm glad to see some fresh faces on this panel. I do agree on one thing the outgoing chair said about term limits. I do support limits as well. Of the 3 commissioners that departed, they had 8, 7, and 6 years on this commission. Not that long ago, 4 years was max, which was 2 terms. I wish you nothing but the best moving forward. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Linda Whitley. Welcome, Linda. Name and address for the record, please. You got 5 minutes.
My name is Linda Moran Whitley. I own a business in Catlin Court at 7146 North 58th Avenue. I wish to speak during the public comments tonight regarding the item that is on the special workshop agenda. I wish to speak on the application of Proposition 207, ARS Section 12-134, to these proposed changes in the Catlin Court pad plan. I was part of the neighborhood group that worked with the city to enforce the professional office space limit in the pad in 2015. And I worked against the city when the department decided not to enforce this use limit. At that time, the city was concerned that Prop 207 would factor into their enforcement of the pad plan. Prop 207 did not come into play, though because the city would be enforcing the terms of a pre-Prop 207 law, the pad plan, not changing the law. But now this application is intended to change the pad plan so that the use limits on residential only and professional office space in place to benefit my business would be officially gone. My questions concern the Prop 207 effects of proceeding with this application. How has the city considered whether the changes in this application would result in Prop 207 liability to the specialty retail property owners in Catlin Court? If a decision in the city's favor in the pending special action would implement these same changes in Catlin Court as an interpretation of the PAD plan as it is now with no Prop 207 liability, then why is the city risking Prop 207 liabilities with this change in the law before the special action case is decided? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Lorraine Zomak.
Chair. Chairman, I didn't catch your name.
That was Linda Whitley.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Welcome. Your name and your address, please.
Lorraine Zomak, 7302 North 58th Drive. Well, again, good evening, Commissioners. As I stated, my name is Lorraine Zomak. My husband, Bud, and I, you met Bud a few moments ago, own a business in the Catlin Court Retail District, just 2 blocks from right here. And we're also very honored to own a 103-year-old home in the Catlin Court residential neighborhood, about 5 blocks from here. And I've been a resident of Glendale for nearly 50 years, but I'm not going to tell you how old I am. We opened our business nearly 2 years ago, and we were quickly embraced by the incredible and hardworking Catlin Court business owners. Catlin Court merchants for 30 years have relied on the PAD that establishes the area as a specialty retail district for businesses like ours. The longtime PAD put specialty retail first by limiting both ground floor professional office space and residential-only uses. The limit on professional office space is in place so that ground floor space in these 4 blocks of historic buildings can be utilized for specialty retail. The change in the PAD plan and the application doesn't clarify the limit. It actually eliminates this protection for specialty retail uses completely. The current limit on residential use is essential to keeping the area from becoming a completely residential neighborhood. Without the limit requiring a business in conjunction with someone residing in the building, people will eventually buy the specialty retail store properties and convert them to residential only. I believe these facts show that the proposed changes to the PAD plan are intended to eliminate specialty retail use in the Catlin Court PAD and end the unique and charming shopping experience that we have all loved for 3 decades and that tourists from around the world visit each and every day. I ask that you please help us stop this proposed decline of specialty retail in Catlin Court. Commissioners, thank you so much for your time tonight, and thank you for your service to our city.
Thank you. Well, I'm not going to try these 2 first names. I'm going to go to the last name. It's either Mr. or Ms. Chu. Welcome. Name and address. We're going to limit it to 5 minutes, and I'm sorry about the first 2 names. I didn't want to take a chance.
That's okay. I've lived with it all my life. My name is Xiao Shen Chu. My address is 7150 North 58th Avenue. I am also one of the plaintiffs in the group to that is opposed to the change for the pad. My husband and I, we own Evergreen Center of Oriental Medicine, a business in Catlin Court, and we've been there since 2007. My dad came to the United States as a student in 1960. He became a U.S. citizen, then a NASA rocket scientist. He gifted us a sum of money 18 years ago to help us pursue our American dream, as he did. Before he passed, he was so proud to see the realization of our business in historic Catlin Court. He loved the neighborhood and took so many walks in the peaceful, idyllic business district. Mostly, he left this world knowing his daughter could pursue the American dream and make a living. In Catlin Court, there are 42 businesses, business owners and stakeholders, from less than a year old to 30 years old. We have put our blood, sweat, and tears into our investments, reached out to the community in a positive way. This is a unique business district, and our clients look forward to their visits at our clinic. For us, this is our livelihood, our promise of a retirement. We have diligently paid our city sales taxes, adhered to the laws that govern Catlin Court. We love our business neighbors and have worked together to enrich Catlin Court. We don't have any other properties, investments to rely on for retirement. This is it. So please support us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ju. I have Roger Barimar. I think I might have butchered that, but I can't read the writing. So Roger, if you're over there, come on down. Name and address, please. Welcome.
My name is Roger Fenneman. My address is 7150 North 58th Avenue. And you just met my wife over there. We have been business owners for 14 years. We also own a home in the neighboring Florocroft district. And I am also one of the plaintiffs challenging the interpretation of the pad. So, now the pad, it's still in the discovery phase, and the timing of, which makes the timing of this meeting pretty remarkable. So, through document requests, we have discovered communications between the planning department and the Catlin Court stakeholder. And these communications seem to indicate a degree of cooperation towards this agenda of flipping the district from a retail specialty district to residential. Now, I'm sure you all have access to all the documents, so you can see for yourself. But that's pretty remarkable, too. Now, as my wife said, you know, we really rely on the neighborhood and exposure to maintain our livelihood. And I'm sure the city can benefit. It should behoove the city to have more retail spending for the taxes gleaned. And so I hope you all can throw your support behind us and support the pad. It's pretty important. It's our business, it's our livelihood. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Stella Griazzo.
Good evening.
Good evening. Name and address, please.
Stella Griazzo, 5530 West Martin Avenue in Glendale. I Whoa, I've lived in Glendale since 1969. Right outside these doors is historic. Glendale was a destination with all these quaint little shops and restaurants. Now, all I see are developments, cookie-cutter homes, what you want to do to the Catlin area. I've asked over and over in many meetings when the city will start to enhance what we have around us, not destroy it like they did with Glen Lakes Golf Course. That is painful every time I have to drive past that. And I don't know what direction we're going in, except I was thinking on the way here, there's a furniture place in Tempe called The Dump. When people hear that we live in Glendale, they're going to say, oh, you live in The Dump, because it's all about high-density homes. If this is a historic area, why do you want to amend? Why do you want to make changes? I mean, historic to me is something sacred. And hearing these people, it's sad. I'm going back a little bit when people in Waddell were coming and they were going to put a Love's truck stop. I wanted to tell the people at their first meeting they attended to run because nobody listens. And that's how I truly feel. Residents come before the commission or the council members, and they're doing their due diligence. What we feel carries no weight. And what we have to live with now, with all these changes, you can't go back. So I hope the Catlin Court, these people get what they want, because it's really sad what's happening in this town of Glendale. And I feel like nobody cares. I feel nobody is representing the residents for how they feel. And if you look out here at all the vacancies, when is this area going to be revitalized? Not just maybe torn down and put some more cookie-cutter homes like you have on Olive and 53rd going up, or all the rentals going up. It's really sad with what's happening. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, I have no more speaker cards. Commissioners, anything else? Okay, our next regular meeting of the Planning Commission will be held on April 1st at 6 p.m. If there's no further business, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned.